All right, let's dive into something pretty cool today. We're going to be looking at a ritual for invoking the element of air.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we're working with a document that outlines this practice, and it's used by both the Golden Dawn
Wow.
and a modern group called the Sanctuary of Mott.
Interesting.
Ever heard of the Golden Dawn?
Yeah, a little bit
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
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 What do you know about them?
Well, I know they're like shrouded in a bit of mystery, right? Secret societies, hidden knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Think like secret societies, hidden knowledge, rituals designed to like tap into spiritual forces.
Yeah, it's like something out of a Dan Brown novel.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
It's super interesting. So this idea of invoking air,
Right.
what do you think that's all about? What's the point?
I mean, when I think about it, I kind of think of it as like setting an intention
Yeah.
or like creating a specific mood or energy for whatever you're about to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it says here that this is a daily ritual, ideally done in the mornings.
Oh, wow. So it's like you start your day by inviting in like the clarity and inspiration associated with air.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's really interesting. Is this like for everyone, this ritual? Or is this more of an advanced practice?
Well, it looks like this particular ritual is specifically for people in the Theoricus grade
Okay.
within the Sanctuary of Mott.
Theoricus.
Yeah. And
Uh.
the term Theoricus kind of hints that this isn't like a beginner thing.
Right.
Like a,
It suggests a certain level of like knowledge and understanding already.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's like levels to this. It's
Wow.
not just like anybody can just jump into this.
Yeah, it's like a whole spiritual curriculum, it seems like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's get into like the actual steps, right? Like what's involved in this air invocation? What do you actually do?
So the document starts with something called the fourfold breath and the Kabbalistic cross.
Okay.
These are, I guess you could think of them as like warm-up stretches, but for your spirit.
Okay, spiritual stretches. Got it.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right, so then things start to get a little bit more visual. You move on to creating and charging what they call the lesser invoking pentagrams.
Okay, now we're talking. So this is where we might picture like, those glowing pentagrams you see in movies and stuff?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. So how do you do that? Walk me through it.
All right, so picture this. You're facing east,
Okay.
and you trace a large pentagram in the air using either your index finger or a dagger or this special wand they call the outer wand of double power.
Okay, hold on. I'm taking notes here. Double power. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and the color of the wand actually changes depending on which direction you're facing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when you're facing east and south, the wand is white.
Okay.
And then when you're facing west and north, it's black.
Why the color change? What's the significance there?
That's a good question. The document doesn't really go into detail.
Okay.
But if I had to guess, I'd say it probably ties into like the association of white with light and day, right?
Okay.
And black with darkness and night.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So east and south, the sun rises and peaks in those directions. And then west and north were linked to sunset in the absence of light.
Makes sense. So you've drawn your glowing pentagram.
Right.
What's the next step in this charging process? What do you do?
You dramatically pierce the center of each pentagram with either your finger, dagger, or the tip of the wand.
Uh-huh.
And you vibrate the divine name, YHVH.
YHVH.
Yeah, which is the Hebrew name for God.
Okay.
And vibrating divine names is a big part of Kabbalah and other esoteric traditions.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about like imbuing the space with power, connecting to this higher force.
So it's not just about drawing shapes. It's about actually infusing them with like divine energy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you do this in each direction.
Yes. And as you move from one direction to the next, you trace a continuous line of white light connecting all the pentagrams, basically creating a protective barrier, like a sacred fortress of energy.
Oh, wow. I like that. A fortress of energy. Okay, so now you've got these pentagrams all charged up. What happens next? What's the next stage of this ritual?
All right, so then you move on to invoking the archangels, each of which is associated with a specific direction. And the document really gives these vivid descriptions that make it easy to visualize them.
Oh, cool. I like that. All right, so who are these celestial VIPs? Who are we calling on?
So facing east, you call upon Raphael, and he's described as wearing these flowing robes of yellow and violet, carrying a caduceus wand.
Raphael, the healer.
Exactly.
So we're calling in some healing energy right off the bat.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, who's next?
Then, turning to the west, you visualize Gabriel emerging from the sea like Venus, dressed in blue and orange robes and holding a cup.
Interesting. I wonder if that cup represents something, like communication.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
It's like he's carrying the vessel for messages and knowledge and inspiration.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, who's next?
Okay, so on your right, facing south, stands Michael, the warrior archangel, depicted in these fiery red and green robes, wielding a sword.
Yes. Michael, the warrior. That imagery is so powerful, it just screams like strength and protection.
Exactly.
Michael always gives me that like, warrior vibe. Overcoming obstacles, battling negative forces, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so who's the final archangel?
Okay, so facing north, you call upon Uriel, and he's wearing earthy tones and holding ripened wheat,
Ah, interesting.
which I think symbolizes abundance and the fruits of knowledge.
Yeah, that's perfect for Uriel, the angel of wisdom. So now you're like surrounded by these powerful archangels. What's the next step?
So you acknowledge their presence with a powerful statement. For about me flames the pentagram, and in the column shines the six-rayed star.
Ooh, chills.
Right.
Yeah.
It's recognizing both the protective barrier you've created and the divine light within.
It's like you're conducting an orchestra of spiritual energy.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so what's the grand finale of this air invocation?
We arrive at the heart of it all, the prayer of the sylphs.
Ah, the sylphs. Now, those are like air spirits, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So this prayer is invoking their specific energy and qualities.
Yes, and it's incredibly poetic, and it's packed with symbolism. You're going to love it.
Okay, let's hear it. What does this prayer actually say?
Okay, so it starts by addressing the sylphs as the spirit of life, spirit of wisdom, recognizing their connection to both our physical and mental realms. I think this is a great place to pause and let this sink in for our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
The stage is set, the archangels are present, and the real invocation is about to begin. What are your thoughts so far?
I am like totally captivated.
Yeah.
This is already so much more intricate than I ever imagined.
It is, right.
It's amazing how each element builds on the last.
Yeah.
It's like creating this incredible sense of anticipation. I am so ready to hear more about this prayer of the selves.
I know, it's super cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're building up to something really big here.
Totally, yeah.
Like all this preparation, it's going to lead to something amazing.
Yeah, and the way it unfolds, it's like a carefully choreographed dance.
Yeah.
It's all energy and intention.
Yeah.
And you're right about that anticipation.
Yeah.
It's palpable, leading up to this direct communication with the sylphs.
So let's dive into the prayer itself.
Okay.
Like what kind of language are we talking about here?
It's really poetic and rich with symbolism.
Okay.
It starts by describing the breath as the force that giveth forth and withdraweth the form of all living things.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's powerful.
Right, yeah.
It's like this reminder of the cyclical nature of existence, that interplay of creation and dissolution.
And I think it speaks to something really profound about air itself. It's
Yeah.
invisible, but it's the very breath of life.
Right.
It's this force that animates everything.
Exactly, and the prayer goes on to actually connect the sylphs to that very act of creation.
Oh, wow.
It says, "Thou who breathest forth thy breath, and endless space is peopled.
Okay.
Thou who drawest in thy breath, and all that cometh from thee returneth unto thee."
So each breath we take is like a microcosm of this
Yeah.
larger cosmic dance.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Every inhalation is a birth,
Yeah.
and every exhalation is a death.
Mhm.
And the sylphs are like the invisible force orchestrating it all.
I love that. Okay, so the prayer goes on, right?
Yeah, it shifts to a more personal level.
Okay.
It urges us to strive for immutable and imperishable brilliance.
What do you think that means in the context of air?
That's a good question. I think it relates to like those qualities we associate with air, right?
Yeah.
Clarity, inspiration, that spark of new ideas.
It's like a yearning for knowledge and understanding, but like beyond the limits of the physical world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual aspiration,
Okay.
a desire to align ourselves with like the highest aspects of air. And then it gets even more interesting. It says, "Let the ray of thine intelligence and the warmth of thy love penetrate even unto us. Then that which is volatile shall be fixed. The shadow shall be a body. The spirit of air shall be a soul. The dream shall be a thought."
Whoa, hold on. I got to write all that down. Okay, unpack that for me. That's a lot.
Okay, so basically it's suggesting that by connecting with the sylphs and their energy, we can actually transform ourselves.
Okay.
Remember we talked about air representing change?
Yeah.
Well, here it's talking about fixing that which is volatile. It's about bringing stability to the ever-shifting nature of our thoughts, emotions, even our sense of self.
So it's like taking that boundless, sometimes chaotic energy of air
Right.
and grounding it within ourselves, creating a sense of clarity and purpose.
Exactly. And the idea of the shadow shall be a body is really interesting, right?
Yeah.
It suggests that those hidden unconscious aspects of ourselves, they can be brought into the light,
Okay.
integrated into our conscious awareness.
Yeah.
It's about becoming whole,
Wholeness. Yeah.
embracing all parts of who we are.
Yeah. It's like the air is illuminating our inner landscape, helping us to see ourselves more fully.
Yes, I love that image.
Yeah.
And then it says, the spirit of air shall be a soul, the dream shall be a thought.
What do you think that means?
It's pointing to the power of air to transform our dreams and aspirations into tangible thoughts and actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about taking those fleeting inspirations and giving them form, bringing them into the realm of the concrete.
Okay.
Air is like the bridge between the realm of imagination and the realm of manifestation.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I'm hooked.
Okay, so the prayer concludes with this final evocative image. It says, and no longer shall we be swept away by the tempest, but we shall hold the bridles of the winged steeds of dawn, and we shall direct the course of the evening breeze to fly before thee.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Right. The imagery.
Yeah, what's the message there?
I think it's about mastery.
Okay.
We've invoked air, connected with its energy, and now the prayer is urging us to take control,
Yeah.
become the riders of the wind, rather than being tossed about by its whims.
Yeah.
It's a call to harness the power of air and direct it towards our goals.
That's amazing. It reminds me of that idea we talked about earlier of becoming a conductor, like orchestrating the energy of the elements.
Exactly. It's not about passively accepting what life throws at us,
Right.
It's about actively shaping our reality, using the tools and energy that the elements provide.
Yeah.
And in this case, air is the element of transformation, communication, and mastery.
I'm blown away by this prayer of the sylphs. It's so much more than just words.
I know, me too.
It's a powerful affirmation, a guide to personal growth, a blueprint for harnessing the energy of air.
And remember, this is just one interpretation.
Right.
The beauty of these practices is they can speak to us in different ways depending on where we are in our lives.
That's so true. What I'm finding so fascinating is that this ritual is not just about invoking air in some abstract sense. It's about understanding how the qualities of air manifest in our own lives, in our thoughts, our communication, our ability to adapt and embrace change.
Absolutely. And the fact that this particular ritual is intended for those in the Theoricus grade, it suggests that it's about deepening our understanding of air,
Okay.
both within ourselves and in the world around us, moving beyond the surface level, exploring the ways that air shapes our reality.
Yeah, so what happens after this powerful prayer? Does the ritual just kind of end there?
Well, there's a sense of closure and grounding.
Okay.
You give the Theoricus sign again, that gesture we talked about earlier,
Right.
and then you repeat the Kabbalistic cross.
Oh, so it's like bookending the ritual with those symbolic gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that symmetry.
Yeah, and the Kabbalistic cross is more than just a gesture.
Okay.
It's like a powerful tool in Kabbalistic tradition for aligning yourself with divine energy.
Okay.
You're drawing down light from above,
Yeah.
connecting to the earth below, extending that energy outwards to the entire universe.
So it's about establishing balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Connection, yeah.
A sense of being grounded.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm seeing how each element of this ritual is carefully chosen. It
Right.
builds on the previous steps, and it creates this tapestry of energy and intention.
Really is a masterpiece of ritual design, and what's striking me is that this isn't just some esoteric practice reserved for a select few,
Well, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's a profound guide for anyone who wants to understand and harness the power of air in their own lives.
That's a great point.
Mm.
So why should our listeners care about this ancient ritual? What's the takeaway here?
I think the real takeaway is that this ritual offers a tangible way to connect with the element of air, not just as an abstract concept, but as a powerful force that shapes our thoughts, our communication, our ability to embrace change, even our spiritual growth.
You're right. Even if someone isn't interested in performing the ritual itself, the principles behind it are so valuable.
Absolutely.
It's about recognizing the power of air, both within ourselves and in the world around us, and learning how to work with it. Yes, consciously.
Intentionally, yeah.
Exactly.
So we're not just passive observers in this dance of life.
Right.
We have the capacity to connect with the elements, learn from them, and harness their energy.
For positive transformation.
Yes. This has been an incredible deep dive so far. I
Yeah.
feel like I've not only learned about this ritual, but I've gained a deeper understanding of air and its significance in my own life.
I've learned a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the most ancient practices can still hold relevance and power in our modern world.
So is there more to explore here?
There's always more. I mean, we've gone deep into the ritual itself, but I think there's another layer here that's worth unpacking.
Okay.
What does air represent in a broader sense?
Yeah.
Why is it so important to connect with this element?
It's like we've explored the mechanics of the ritual.
Right.
But now it's time to, delve into its deeper meaning and its relevance for our listeners.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dive even deeper.
Let's do it.
So we went step by step through the ritual itself, and we, dove into the prayer of the sylphs.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It's beautiful, but, there's something bigger here.
Right?
What does air actually represent?
Exactly.
It's not just about the air we breathe.
It's so much more than that. Air, in so many traditions, it represents this whole realm of qualities, energies that are essential.
Okay, so, what? Give me some examples.
Well, just think about air. It's very nature. It's invisible,
Right,
but it's so powerful.
right.
It can be gentle,
Uh-huh.
like a breeze,
Yeah,
or fierce like a hurricane.
totally.
It carries sound.
Right.
It allows us to communicate.
Okay, so, communication, change, intellect,
Yeah, you got it. It's associated with the mind, with thoughts, ideas, inspiration.
creativity,
Yeah.
innovation, spreading knowledge.
Exactly.
So invoking air isn't literally about filling a room with oxygen, right?
No, it's much deeper than that.
It's about inviting in these qualities into your life.
Yeah.
Clarity,
Right.
inspiration, the ability to communicate well, think clearly.
It's about sharpening your mind.
Yeah.
Opening yourself up to new ideas.
Yeah.
And having the courage to embrace change.
This ritual is like a toolkit for
Yeah.
personal growth.
It is. It's amazing.
It is. It's really cool. And it's not just an abstract concept, right?
No, not all.
These qualities of air, we see them every single day.
All the time.
Yeah. So what can our listeners do, even if they don't perform this whole ritual, to bring more air energy into their lives? What are some practical things?
Well, I think one of the simplest things is just becoming more aware of your breath.
Okay.
Really notice it.
Okay.
As you inhale and exhale, just feel it.
Okay.
Spend some time in nature, feeling the wind.
Yeah.
Engage in activities that stimulate your mind.
Hmm.
Reading, writing, learning new things.
Yeah, actively cultivating that air energy.
Sure, exactly.
Curiosity, that mental agility.
And, if you're ever feeling stuck or stagnant,
Yeah.
just visualize being surrounded by a gentle breeze, carrying away those old patterns,
Yeah.
making space for new possibilities.
I love that.
It's like air can help us let go
Yeah.
of what no longer serves us
Uh-huh.
and embrace those winds of change.
That's beautiful. So these elemental rituals, they
Mhm.
give us these tangible ways to connect
Yeah.
with these forces that are already shaping our lives.
They're all around us.
Right.
And we can harness that energy.
Yeah, for positive transformation.
Exactly.
I feel like I learned so much today.
Me too. This was fun.
It was a great deep dive, not only about this ritual, but a deeper understanding of air and how important it is in my own life.
It's a reminder that these ancient practices,
Yeah,
they're still relevant.
they are.
They still have power.
And for our listeners out there, we've only just scratched the surface, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a whole world of esoteric knowledge out there.
It's endless.
It is. It's fascinating. So keep exploring. Keep those minds curious and those breaths deep.
Beautifully said.